My favorite memory was probably when I got a green dump truck. And my mom said she thought Santa made a mistake. And I said, no, no, no. And I guess that's why I started driving trucks. My husband drove dump trucks, but then we drove over the road together.
Everything is always the same. We do everything the same. Everything is in the same place all the time. And one year I decided in the living room to take the tree and put it in the corner instead of front of the window. And Kathy got so disturbed I thought we were going to have to cancel Christmas, so I never did that again. So everything is always the same. Same decorations, same gifts almost.
So we always believed in Santa Claus, and so my parents always wanted to make each year special for us. And there was a fresh blanket of snow out the window, and I asked my parents that I needed some solid proof that there was a Santa. And so sure enough, they told me to look outside my bedroom window, and on the fresh blanket of snow there was sleigh tracks that Santa made and reindeer hooves that Santa made, and I just knew. I knew that there was a Santa Claus for sure.
Well, my favorite Christmas memory is when Mom scraped up and bought me and Steve a wheelie bike that I was really wanting, but I didn't think she would have enough money to get it. So that was a big surprise, and I was riding it that day. I don't remember how cold it was, but I was riding it.
My favorite Christmas memory is there was snow on the ground, it was icy, and playing out in the yard and sledded down the hill and then got stuck and couldn't get back up. We had to chop our way up the hill, and it was not a lot of fun.
My favourite Christmas when I lived in the backwoods of Brazil, and I was expecting a baby, and the pain came, and I knew that I had to get to a hospital as soon as possible, and it took me a 24-hour journey on a boat to finally get to the hospital, and a very kind gentleman on the boat lent me his hammock so I could lie down and rest a little bit. And so I finally, after 24 hours on this river, got to the city of Belém and went to the hospital and had my baby. And Belém is translated into English as Bethlehem. So I felt quite privileged to have had my son in Bethlehem.
My favorite memory is when my oldest was 2. He was the only grandchild who made it to Mom and Dad's that year. So after his huge Christmas at home, because of being an only child, he comes over here to have another huge Christmas. He's unwrapping his gifts, unwrap, 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 and then he's going, more, unwrap, unwrap, more, every single gift. He did that too. It was hilarious.
Well, we didn't get a lot of toys, but one year she did get us, Ruth and I, like 24-inch tall dolls. Mine's still in my closet.
But I do have one when we were in the town of Dom Pedro in Brazil, Maranhão. We put on the Christmas program, and on the day that was to occur, Maria, who was going to play Maria, didn't turn up. So we had to find a Maria in the last minute. Guess who played Maria? With a wig.
We were at my mom's. It was Christmas Eve. We always opened our presents, and it was just my brother and I and my mom and dad. And my dad, my brother, and I had wrapped this great big old box, and we put bricks in it. She got this great big huge box, and at the bottom of it had bricks in it, and there wasn't any presents in it at all. And she got a little small box, and it had a ring. And then we all had multiple presents.
And when I was a little girl, my favorite memory was one year my grandmother was staying at the house, my mom's mom, and we were all at work and at school, and we came home and there was one gift in the floor that was opened, and my dad always accused her of doing it, but she always said it was the dog that did it, so we don't really know who opened it, Grandma or the dog.
And we went to service, We always had a Christmas Eve service. Usually a lot of times we weren't part of the program. The interesting thing though, almost always, not always, but most times, my dad and mom would have sold some TVs during that time period. And so after church, we went out to either deliver TVs to people's houses or more often than not to try to get them fixed to where they had gotten new TVs, but they needed to be adjusted or whatever.
I have a few favorite Christmas memories, but my first would be my Raggedy Ann doll, which was my favorite toy when I was young that I got for Christmas. Also, both of my daughters were baby Jesuses in our Nazarene Christmas programs. One was born in November, one was born in September, and they were the youngest babies at the time. So we used to do the little nativity scenes, and they both played baby Jesus. That was exciting.
My brother-in-law and his wife came in about 2 o'clock in the morning, and we were still awake. We went and answered the door when Tom and Peggy knocked, and we said, "Oh, it's Santa Claus!" And boy, they come out of that bedroom like a ton of bricks. And they had all the gifts and everything with them. And when they came in, they had no clue that it was Tom and Peggy. So anyway, they went over there and got in his lap. And well, now this, what do you guys want for Christmas? And boy, they started rattling off about everything under the sun. Anyway, they just loved it. They thought that was the best thing that ever happened. Santa Claus come to see them. And Tom and Peggy didn't stay very long. They left because they had a lot of places to go. But that's about the best Christmas I think that we had.
Starla had been asking for months for this certain blanket with this certain little character on it. Well, of course, we had gotten it for her. Late Christmas Eve, Paul went somewhere, I don't remember where, and when he came back home, he said he had met this lady, a single mother, and she had a little girl about our daughter Starla's age. And he said, "Sandy, they're not going to have any Christmas." Well, by then all the stores were closed because back then they closed early. Starla, would you want to pick out one of your gifts for the little girl? And she said, okay. So she walked over the tree, she kept picking them up, shaking them, feeling them. Then she picked up the blanket, and of course she knew what it was. And she turned around and she said, "Mommy and Daddy, I want to give this to her." We gave her what we could give her, and then Starla handed the little girl this little blanket, and she watched that other little girl open it. And you know, that's so special to me because I saw right then the love of Jesus in my little girl's heart.